here I am, no prospects, trying to figure out what to do. I'm laid off in February. I didn't even start working again until November. Thank goodness the severance was that good. And I think God sent me my angel that helped me. I get a call out of the blue from a guy named Tom Glover. Never met the guy, didn't know the first thing about him, but he somehow found out I knew Natural Database. And he had a client looking for somebody that could do that. So he sets me up to go on an interview with a airline in Indianapolis named American Transair. And I go up there and we interview and it went well. And I come back home to Louisville and get a call a few days later. Tim, they liked you, but they can't bring you on because they don't have any more money in their budget for contracting services. Okay, thank you very much for the false hope. But I've got another opportunity. R.J. Reynolds Tobacco in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, just happens to use Adabase Natural too. Another tobacco company using the same tool. It's kind of odd. And would you be interested? Yeah, I'll be interested. A few days later, on a Thursday, I get a call. Can you start on Monday? Okay. So hang up the phone and start just scrambling to figure out how we're going to do this. I'm calling all around Winston-Salem trying to find an apartment place I could stay in. We found one. Of course, they're going to need a few days to get it ready for a new renter. Okay. Then I found a company that would actually rent a bed. It's not easy to just figure how am I going to sleep when I get there. They rented a bed with a mattress. So all I had to do is take everything else. So me and my wife, we took our 2 cars, loaded up with everything we thought we could make use of, and drove down to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, checked into a hotel, and we'd check every day, is the apartment ready? So we're down there in time for me to go to work on Monday. The apartment didn't wind up being available till Thursday. Ooh. And money's tight at this point. So I didn't just go in and say, yeah, give us 3 nights, 4 nights. No, we did a night at a time. Every morning, Paula and me, we'd wake up, I'd go off to work, she'd go back to the car and just drive around the city. Yeah. In a strange city. It turned out to be beneficial. She learned where all the places was. Yeah. And then we'd find out, wait in the afternoon, no, apartment's not ready. Check back into the same hotel, spend the night, do that again the next day. It kind of got old, but finally by Thursday we got into this apartment. And, at R.J. Reynolds, they're a nice company and all, but it's like for the first 10 days, they didn't have any work to give me. I mean, they knew I was coming. I kept thinking, why'd you hire a contractor if you didn't actually have immediate work? But for about nearly 2 weeks, I just stayed in my cubicle and I tried to read through some manuals, refresh my skills, wrote a game. I remember the thing about Natural Database that people liked was it not only could process in the background, but it could also display stuff to the screen, results. So that was really the only way companies back then, there weren't too many ways you can put something on a screen in a business for users to see. Yeah. So that's why it was brought into Brown & Williamson. I guess same thing with R.J. Reynolds. So I remember writing tic-tac-toe as a game, just because it's not that much difficult logic. But anyway, and I was there. In the meantime, that airline in Indianapolis calls the Tom Glover again and says, you know what? We can have money for a new full-time employee starting in January. Or they'll have it in January. So they call me up and say that, okay, so I come home for Thanksgiving, drove up the day after Thanksgiving, which, a lot of companies, the day after Thanksgiving is just an automatic day off. Yeah. Not for airlines, because they fly a lot on those days. So You'd have to use a vacation day to be off on that day. Anyway, I go up to them on that Friday, meet with everybody again. They all seem to like it. And so after Thanksgiving, I got notified, yeah, we'd like you to come on next year. And so I worked through December at R.J. Reynolds and said goodbye and came home and didn't really, I don't know what the delay was. I don't remember now, but I didn't really start till March 15th, 1994. In the meantime, between December and then, my wife and I have to go up to Indianapolis and find an apartment and a place to stay and go through all that again, which wasn't too bad. It's a 2-hour drive to Indy from here. It's like a 6-hour drive to Winston-Salem. So we found an apartment. The company was located in buildings on the airport property because they're an airline. Sure. And the closest neighborhood to the airport is the area called Speedway. And it's called that because that's where the Indianapolis Speedway is located. Found an apartment there, and for the next 2 years, it's up on Mondays, home on Fridays, Bring my laundry home with me every weekend to wash it, and it gets old real fast. But when there's just no good way to find jobs. And it was finally one day I'm looking in the paper and there's this ad looking for an database natural programmer. And I'm thinking, okay, it's either going to be Brian and Williamson or Vermont American. I'll call anyway. Who knows?
Right.
And ask him, okay, is this Brian Williamson? No. Is this Vermont American? No. Hey, there's an opportunity. That's what opened the door for me to get at the company I'm at now, ARC, or Airlines Reporting Corporation, because I had that continued skill set that they needed. The person who was doing their work had moved to South Carolina, so they had to have somebody. And that's not a skill set that was easy to find because there weren't many places in Louisville using it anyway.
Exactly.
And that's, by the way, that technology is still out there. It's not used that much in the U.S., mostly for Department of Education entities.